All right, anime's global takeover. 1 in 3 consumers watch weekly. 150 million Netflix subscribers are tuning in. I kind of watch my anime on Crunchyroll. Probably should start checking out to see what they have on Netflix because they have anime on Netflix. There's anime on Amazon, I think, like Prime Video. I think there's anime on there, and there's anime on just my roommate has he signs up for one, so it's kind of it's spread all over the place. It's kind of hard to find. No, they got fairly popular ones that are on Crunchyroll. There's fairly popular ones that are on each one, but you got to kind of figure. Oh, and there's anime on Hulu too. So it's like regular like television. You got to look through a bunch of stuff to figure out where you can watch whatever you can watch it at. It's kind of a pain in the butt. In its Anime Expo wrap up, Netflix revealed that half of its 300 million global users now watch anime. That figure aligns with recent Dentsu study, which found that 48% of global anime viewers subscribe to Netflix to do so. Wow, that is, I, I wouldn't, to be honest, I would have never thought that. Putting the streamer far ahead of competitors like Disney Plus and Prime Video. There's anime on. Okay. I gotta go look at. I got all of these, so I gotta go see what anime is on Disney Plus. I wonder if they mean that the stuff that's on Hulu because there's a lot of anime on Hulu. Uh, report shared by Variety: Anime is no longer the entertainment periphery; it's a global mainstream phenomenon. Hence the reason why you got a bunch of people gonna trying to make their own version of anime. I think Will Smith and his production company is trying to do their own version of anime. The closest thing to an Americanized version of anime that I've seen is The Last Airbender. Preferably the first season. Second, the one with Korra sucked. But the first season is about as close as you can get to an American anime that I've seen. All the other ones is like they don't really get like anime is a Japanese thing, so you got to have the Japanese culture in mind when you make it. Otherwise, it's just a cartoon. All right, All right. Dentsu's data revealed that 31% of global consumers watch anime at least once a week. Yeah, that's me. Asia Pacific region leads in consumption, with countries like Thailand, Indonesia, and Japan showing the highest weekly viewership rates, over 50%. I mean, that's where it comes from. So, even though some markets in the US and UK, anime viewership has experienced a surge. So, why the world is turning to anime? I can tell you that because there's a variety of different types of things. So, like, whatever kind of thing that you're kind of into, there's a version of anime for you. And the thing about Japan is they realize that they have a adult audience. They realize they have a kid audience. So the kid anime is for kids. The adult anime is geared more towards adults. And then it branches out into they got horror stuff and they have like romantic comedies. It's like they got romantic things and they're having this weird like the titles are like a sentence long. It's a bunch of weird stuff going on. And my favorite type of anime typically is uh favorite type of anime is mech, and that's doesn't seem to be that popular right now, which is annoying. Okay, what's driving this global fascination? According to Dentsu, it's not just the animation style, it's the storytelling depth, emotional nuance, and cultural diversity the anime delivers. See, that's what I mean. They actually have people who have life experiences to a degree, so they're able to tell better stories. And for the most part, they stay away. They have elements that will be considered woke, I guess, but it's folded into the story and is not the main thing. The main thing is the main thing. So whatever the story is attempting to tell, whatever story they're trying to tell, that is the main focus. They'll just have elements of your alphabet, folk and various other things in it. So just like everything else, and I just did like a video on diversity in gaming. People don't really care one way or the other about diversity in terms of different types of races being in the leads in games or movies or whatever. It is about the story. You need to tell a good story. If you don't tell a good story, I don't. The other stuff doesn't matter. And a lot of the people, and that's the biggest problem with a lot of this stuff, and a lot of Western things is they think the diversity stuff is more like a garnish on your sandwich, like with your steak, and the story is the steak. But there's been so much focus on the garnish for the steak that they neglect. So the steak is terrible. So the steak tastes terrible, but they'll keep telling you about the stuff that goes with the steak. It's like I don't care about that stuff if the steak is terrible, and the story is the main focus. So you get different types of things, and whatever floats your boat, there's a version of it out there for you, and go from there. Managed Pills stems from its ability to cater adult audiences, like I said, contrast to the often friendly focused perception of Western animation. Because Japan knows how, like, especially like with manga, there's kid manga, there's adult manga. Not like they're not putting adult themes into the children's books and vice versa. Western companies used to be able to do that kind of stuff. They used to be able to tell layered stories. Well, there are things that adults will get, things that children will get. The children part won't even know what this other stuff is, and but you can see it's subtle. They completely, just like I was saying before, they're so focused on the little identity stuff, they don't know how to do that anymore. So hence the 150 million people watching anime. Du- 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 du. Okay, also anime's appeal also stems from its ability to cater. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Contrast off the family focus perception of Western animation. Millennials, particular men, cited interest in Japanese culture and anime's mature themes as motivators for their fandom. Interestingly, perceived definition of anime is also evolving. While 37% of global viewers believe anime must be produced in Japan, an almost equal share of 36% accept the Japanese inspired animation from anywhere as authentic. Cartoon Brew still falls firmly in the former category. Eh, hmm. See, this is where it gets a little dicey for me because anime is a Japanese thing. Like there is, there's animation comes in all kind of forms. Like there's French animation, which is very like decidedly French. Like if you like the Minions, that's a French enthused type of animation, and you can tell the Frenchness of it, of how the jokes are and how the people act and the way that the minions talk. They speak a kind of Frenchy kind of thing, like when they talk. So it's, but that's baked into their culture. And I think if you have something that's like that and you try to emulate it and you're not from that area, yeah, it gets a little, it can be kind of weird. Whereas like you run into problems and you know you are no longer making the thing that you are trying to produce. And this is whereas I see that there could be a problem, especially with Americans trying to make anime, because just make American animation. You used to be able to do that. My whole childhood was filled up with American animation, and they actually took some ideas from Japan and kind of Americanized them. Given that there's no internet and it was very hard to get access to anime at the time, because a long time ago, so, it's like they were inspired by. So if you look at all the cartoons from the 80s and whatnot, they were, a lot of them were inspired by anime at the time. And what's funny is anime was inspired by Disney. So it's like anime took from Disney and now they're taking from, so taking from anime. So it's like Western, so it's like a interesting little thing that you're winding up with. Authenticity remains critical. 60% of anime viewers read the original manga, and many expect involvement from original creators of adaptations, especially live action projects. Yeah, just like um, I, One Piece. One Piece benefited greatly by the fact that the person who made the manga had total control over that show. If they did something that he didn't like, that didn't get on the screen. And every time they do any kind of live action version of an anime or a manga and they don't have involvement from the person who made it, you can tell because they Americanize it too much and it strays away from what people liked about it in the first place. I think Bleach ran into that problem. All right. How do you define anime? Okay, so all right, so these are just the stats that they were talking about. U.S. viewers are passionate and profitable. U.S. anime fans aren't just watching; they're spending. And 40% of American viewers reported spending over 200 on anime merchandise in the past year. T-shirts, little figures, that kind of thing. Yeah, that's probably pretty huge. I'm spending more. When 20% spending more than 500. If you buy like the little I forgot what they call them, but the little mech statuettes and all that stuff, those things can be expensive as hell. Like the little figurines. Yeah. So it could be $500 and you buy three things. That makes US most lucrative market for animated project globally, followed by Thailand and China. All right. This high the United States is the most promising market for brands looking to sell anime inspired products. Well, I guess, but that's been a thing. See, this is interesting how this goes because that's been a thing for a while, and so I guess the normies are getting into it. That's probably the reason for this. But your typical anime fan was all about buying the stuff. So it's like everything else. Once the normies get involved, that's when your more mainstream writers talk about stuff like it's brand new, even though it's I've been watching anime since the 80s. And you used to be able to go down to Little Tokyo and buy the books and the mech kits and the little statues and all that stuff for going on 40 years. So this is not an actual new thing, but it's no longer a niche. So as high engagement goes beyond purchases, American fans are also among the most active creators in the fandom. Then 10% of US viewers host their own anime podcasts or live streams. 11% sell anime inspired merchandise on online marketplaces. These are mega fans reflect a participatory culture where fandom becomes content creation. Streaming drive discovery, influencers fuel engagement. Streaming platforms play a major role. There's a problem though, is because there's so much anime right now. It is kind of hard to find the good stuff. So you still kind of have to work off of recommendations. Like I watched Solo Leveling. I've seen that multiple times, and a part of the reason for that is because I heard about it. And I also watched this other one called To Be Hero X, and that is because people have been saying that if you like Solo Leveling, then you'll like that. And Solo Leveling is like really, really good. So streaming platforms, okay. Authenticity. All right. Anime's popularity presents a huge opportunity for marketeers, but the approach must be nuanced. Dentsu emphasized that anime is not monolithic. Viewer motivations vary by age, gender, and geography. A one size fits all strategy won't resonate, which is your typical corporate viewpoint of this stuff. Take whatever is popular, replicate it to people who are sick of it, and move on to the next thing. Cultural fit on authenticity is the key, then argues the study. Brands that incorporate anime IP must be thoughtful. Consumers prefer when anime content or collaborations feel true to the original vision, especially when it comes to adaptation. Gen Z and millennial consumers, in particular, reward integrity. Over 40% of anime viewers say their opinion on a brand improves when it incorporates anime inspired designs or promotion, and the number jumps to nearly 60% in the US. Anime has officially transcended borders, language, and generations, and its rise in the US and around the world signals a shift in global media consumption. Again, the normies found out about the thing that a bunch of people who already watch anime did. It's like comic books. I guess this is the new thing after because they have drained all of they could out of the superhero stuff. So they're moving on to anime. I hope that they don't do to anime what they did to superhero stuff. Stop making good movies. Become a they figured out the easiest, cheapest way to do this, and they started making very formulaic things. All right, so wow, it's 30 minutes in. Cool. I like anime. I hope they don't change it too much, but given how everything is going, I can't say. All right. So I am going to go see Superman on Tuesday. I guess next week I'll give a pretty vague my interpretation of it. I wonder if I should do it out of the theater thing, or will it be too late? I don't know. Well, they had some news about the DEI Black Superman. And as you can tell by my tone of voice, I was not looking forward to a Ta-Nehisi Coates Superman because the dude does not like America. He does not like America. I love the people who don't like America but don't want to leave. They just want to stay here and complain about how they're being oppressed and whatever. They complain about oppression from their mansions and say how everything sucks and we should just fuss and scream about everything. But these corporations have realized that you cannot sell wokeness. There's not enough people who are into it. There are not enough people who are into it positively to justify spending hundreds of millions of dollars on this stuff because it's going to fail. It's like the Red Sonja. Yeah, that's going to fail. It looks bad. And the fact that like I said, they're putting it out 2 weeks after they are releasing it in the theaters. Even they know it was bad. Just like Ironheart, Disney knew it was bad. That's why they held on to it for like 2 years. And when it comes out, everything that it talks about is from stuff 3 years ago. So it's super dated and cringy, and it's a bunch of stuff, and it's just a lot of young people whining about things, about how they can't achieve anything in life because somehow they're being held back by whoever. Some random person that they don't know is holding them back.